Welcome to Queer Youth Focused Yoga. Welcome. My name is Leorle. I am a non-binary artist, yoga and meditation teacher, light worker, healer, and passionate connector of human beings. I have been teaching live classes all over the country in a very experimental style for the past, I want to say, 8 years. If we've never met before, it's nice to meet you. If we have, you're probably wondering, how come I'm doing this recorded instead of live like I usually do? This offering is special. It's brought to you today by Queers for a Cause, a great charity out of New York State that's helping queer youth and trans youth get the validating care that they deserve and need. Maybe you yourself are a young adult, or maybe you're just young at heart and you're showing up to support this charity. Either way, it's a pleasure to have you. And I really appreciate you taking this time out of your day, out of your life, to be present with your body, to allow me to guide you through a shared experience in coming home to our authentic selves. If you're familiar with my classes, you know that typically I teach live, and typically I teach in the nude. And as a naturist and an ecosexual, nudity is a really big part of my personal practice. Now, you might not be of age to enjoy that. That's okay. The spirit and the essence of nudity that is important, that I want to bring forward into this class as well, is the idea of radical self-acceptance, is the idea that your body is the authority, that what you need, your body will tell you, that this instrument, this very sophisticated organism that we are in partnership with, knows more about what you need than me or any teacher ever could. So this might be a little bit different than your regular yoga class, because I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to invite you to have choices. You get to decide what you want to take and what you want to leave. And whatever is not right for you, don't do it. Normally, in class, if this was live, you'd have the opportunity, because I love encouraging a little bit of engagement and control over your practice. I usually invite students to ask and self-advocate. So let's say I invite you to do a movement that does not feel good in your body. Well, you don't do it. Normally you'd have the option of saying, Leor, this doesn't feel good for me. Or is it normal that my shoulders are pinching in this way? Or do you have something else that maybe is a little bit less intense on the hips? Like, whatever people are experiencing, I always ask them to advocate. And then I provide options. Because we don't have that luxury today of being able to exchange communication verbally while we're practicing, I'm going to ask you to really listen deeply. And anytime I offer you something, know that you are allowed, you are encouraged to disagree, disobey. These aren't orders. These are invitations. And this practice is getting intimate with your body, which means that if 100 of us do this practice all together, it might look 100 different ways, and we're still all doing it right. As somebody who lives with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and is a queer person, and is a non-binary person, I am really passionate about making sure that all of our movements are coming from a place of awareness and intention. We're never moving quickly or rushing. We're never pushing the body past its limits. And in fact, I don't even use yoga pose words, because I think the language of yoga can be a little bit hard to access sometimes. The importance is not if you know what crocodile is, right? The importance is, are the words I'm using coming across to you as something you can understand in your own body, right? Know that whatever we do on one side of the body, we're going to do on another. You don't have to worry about being at the same pace as me. You can pause this video whenever you want. I want you to focus on being inside your body, listening to the sensations, and just observing without judging. That's the whole purpose behind the way I run my yoga class. It's really important to me to maintain an atmosphere of play, of curiosity, of creativity. You are the designer of your life. Your body is a conduit through which you experience and receive truth. No matter what your spiritual labels of choice, as queer people, our divinity lies in transcending the binaries. We are change makers. The things about us that the world may perceive as vulnerability, the things about us that are ridiculed and considered wrong by mainstream society, those things are your gifts. And why is it important to be taking yoga from another queer person? Why not just Google and take a cis-het yoga class? What's the point? Because we as queer people, our bodies, our experiences are already put into cis-het language all the time, all over our everyday life. And that language can be restrictive. It can feel stifling. Do less than encourage us to come out fully as who we are in every single moment of every day. And in the fluidity of coming out. Because it is a daily practice. And I think about coming to my mat the same way that I think about coming out and being honest about the fluidity of my gender expression and presentation and experience. Every single time I come to this mat, I am met with a different body, with different levels of flexibility and different points of pain, and different desires for comfort. And if I was really strict and I thought I had to do yoga the way I should, right, following particular asanas, I might not have made the adjustments needed for my body to have the most enjoyable experience. And what is the essence of queerness? Transformation. To queer something is to explore and expand it, is to change it fundamentally, is to give it permission to become something new, even something that maybe we don't have the words yet to describe. And by existing, we free each other and we free everybody else. Because men and women, the people that identify in those ways, that are straight, that are not really concerned about changing the way society functions because it works in their favor, there are still ways in which they are oppressed. Not everybody who identifies as a cis-het woman wants to perform femininity every day. There are still ways in which our gender roles can constrict us, even if we are not queer. And what I need you to understand, even though a lot of hetero cisgendered folks will misunderstand us, even though other trans people sometimes, or other queer people sometimes will misunderstand us, our choice to keep living every day, our choice to be visible every day, our choice to come out in any social sphere, going to the post office, you are a fucking revolutionary. Going to the grocery store, you are a miracle. You are setting people free just by choosing to be yourself. I could cry just thinking about it. You don't have to grow up in New York or Vancouver or Seattle or some cool, hip, already infiltrated by the beautiful queers space to belong. Because everywhere on earth, throughout history, through all time and space, queerness has always existed. We have always been here. And we sure as shit are not going anywhere now. It is important for you to read books, watch movies, watch TikToks, all from and by queer people. Average language, there are so many microaggressions within that. It's so difficult to go into a space where you might be misgendered when you're trying to get embodied. As a trauma-informed teacher, It is always my goal to give you the tools to have autonomy over your experience. Whether you want your awareness to be outside the body, exploring, engaging in life with other people and your environment, or whether you want to be on the inside, experiencing the internal landscape of your sensations, motions, memories, feelings, thoughts. You deserve the ability to moderate your experience, whether you want to be outside or inside, and the intensity of the signals and the input that you're getting. A lot of us as queer people have been traumatized by the world, as well as our well-meaning families or our not well-meaning families. It's up to us to build a sense of belonging for ourselves and each other. So every time you come to this mat, every time you come to this body that you were born with, and you say, however you look, however you are, however you feel, you are enough. There is space for you in this human family, in this life, in this society. More than that, you are needed. You are needed. 10 years from now, I get choked up every single time. Ten years from now, kids that are growing up are going to be able to watch and learn from and connect with people that are just like them, that give them permission to explore, to change over time. Who you were 5 years ago and 5 years from now has nothing to do with who you are in this moment. Not nothing, but don't let the past or the future impinge on who you decide to be today. You could have been straight yesterday, and that may have been true. You could be pansexual today, and that is still true. And you might be trans tomorrow, and that is still true. You have permission to fluctuate over time, to be fluid. And it's important to connect with other queer media, other queer teachers, and what we make, because it's our imagination that has this freedom in it. That means everything that you draw, everything that you write, everything that you sing, everything that you dance cannot be separated from your queerness, from the beautiful essence of your radical, authentic self. That is your magic. It is so special, and it's hard to listen to. Our intuition gets stomped all over by elders who are misinformed and people who think the answers are outside, and they're not. They're inside you. I'm not here to tell you anything that you don't already know. It's worth risking coming out when and where you feel safe, with whom you feel safe. Even if it's only by yourself. Even if the only person that you admit who you are to, for now, is you. You're safe in this space. On that note, if you're ready to get started, I always include a meditation at the beginning and the end of class, because I can't assess everybody's levels of experience. I'm going to go for what is simple, easy. Don't focus on what you look like, it's what you feel like. You're going to need a couple of things. A nice squishy mat. If you don't have a yoga mat that's made out of a nice squishy material, you could also use a carpeted area of your floor. You could also lay down a textured blanket if it's big enough and doesn't slide around. You want to make sure that you have a really solid footing. You'll want to get yourself a glass of water to drink, maybe a notebook to write anything that comes up for you, and some pillows and bolsters and a blanket so that you can be nice and comfortable. Any kind of pillow you want. I'm going to recommend that you practice in a space that is private. So go ahead and pause the video here if you need to assemble your pieces and close your doors and, let your family know, turn your phone on silent, let everybody know, don't bother me for the next 40 minutes. I'm doing a thing, doing a ritual, need some space. Freak them out with the woo, that gets me space. I'm like, yeah, I have a spell to cast, you really should get out of here. All right, beautiful creature. Find yourself on the floor. Or, if you prefer, practice on a chair or sitting on the couch. Whatever's cozy. You're going to find a seated position that feels good for you to start. I like to prop my hips up on a little bolster or pillow, and just enough so that you can see. Just tilts my hips forward a little bit, right? Just like that, versus if I'm sitting on the ground, I'm kind of scooped under. It's a little more like, whatever feels comfortable to you. You could be here, cross-legged, fire log, stack the feet, as long as the foot is facing the same direction as the knee. You can even lay down on your back. Find an orientation that feels good and settle in. To begin, we're just going to check in with the breath. So, just observing, not changing anything. How is the breath moving in your body today? You can let the eyes flutter closed and just listen to my voice for this portion. Or you can let the gaze be really soft, looking down at your mat. Just observing where it flows. If you map the breath as it comes into your body, where does it go? What shape does it take up? Does it sit all up here in the chest? Does it come down low into the belly? Is it wide in the rib cage? Is it maybe shallow in the throat? Not judging, just observing. What is alive in your body right now? Notice the air as it touches the tip of your nose, coming into the body and out of the body through the nose. The mouth is gently closed and the tongue is resting lightly against the roof of the mouth, just behind the teeth. The jaw is soft. And you're just going to invite the breath to move a little bit lower and deeper into the body, filling up more completely, and exhaling completely, actively making sure that you're blowing out the nose until there's no more air left. And allowing it to come back in. We'll repeat this for about 5 breaths, inviting each inhalation to be deeper than the last. At your own pace. Your breath should be loud. Let it fill the inside of your body, almost like the sound of the waves approaching the shore and retreating. You might feel some heat begin to build. I'm already there. Feel free to change your attire or open windows as you need. hair tie for those of us hairies is super helpful. We're starting to wake up the inside of the body, drawing our awareness from the outside world inside. So let's take a moment to acknowledge where you came from and the room that you're in right now. Taking your hands gently, they can sit in your lap, relaxed, or palms open on the knees or on the thighs. And as you're breathing, inviting the breath to be deep, I just want you to look around the room. Look to your left, and then up the wall. Look at the ceiling. Mine's covered in little rainbows right now. Look at the wall on your right. Notice the colors in your space. Look behind you. And then in front of you, holding all of the space around you and the space on the screen that we share together. This is your container. This is your time. You are safe and held. Taking the palms out in front of us, we're going to create some heat. Rubbing them together, activating the energy centers in the palms of our hands. They're like little discs, chakras that spin. And you can imagine them going up and down through your body and in your hands and in your feet, as if they are always spinning and generating light. You as a light being are always generating light. And release that intensity. Feel the sensation in the hands and the fingers as the energy rushes forward. And cup the eyes gently, letting the palms rest on the forehead and the crown of the head. Feeling the energy radiating into the body. Inside this tiny, quiet space, behind your palms, behind your eyelids, invite your highest self, your divine self, your queer self, your essence, your spirit, your soul, your God, whatever language feels right for you today. Invite an intention to come to you. It'll be just one word, maybe two, and it's what you most need to receive today on this mat. Maybe it's just stillness, or peace, or playfulness, or joy, or even space for grief, even release. Find your intention, just one or two words, and then let the hands gently, slowly peel away from the eyes, coming down to your heart center. You can go one hand over the other or one on top of the other. Feeling the heat and the energy radiating through the arms, through the palms. The intention that was born from your spirit, now radiating into your heart. This inner knowing, your intuition, you can trust it. even if just for the next 30-ish minutes together. Give your body a chance to be trusted. Give your spirit a chance to be trusted. This organism, this body, I want you to address it directly. If you've come to one of my classes before, you know I love the imagination, and fantasy is the queerest space there can be. It is queer imagination that will save the world. So that's the space we're playing in today. And with your eyes gently closed or looking softly down at the ground, hold in your imagination a conversation with your body. Your hands gently pressing in, making contact with your organism. We're going to begin by sending some affirmations to our body, to our flesh vessel, our water sac, this beautiful, lovable, squishy, imperfect, impermanent vessel. Is a highly intelligent partner. It is your collaborator. It intuits the world, breaks it down into your senses, and gives it to you in a way that your brain can process, make sense of, and enjoy. That is a miraculous process. Take a moment to send love and affection and appreciation to this body that you are so lucky to have partnered with. Body, we are at your altar today, right now. This mat is our altar. This movement, this breath, this awareness of breath and movement is what we call yoga. It doesn't matter so much the shapes we're taking. It matters where our heart and our mind is as we move. So on that note, we're going to begin to wake up the body with some playful movement from side to side. Imagining that you're just a little piece of kelp and you're floating in the ocean. And the ocean is pulling you side to side in the swell. Your arms might want to go with, or maybe they don't. Maybe they want to just stay completely heavy as you roll, the shoulders leading the movement side to side. And maybe they go front to back too. Maybe reversing. Maybe in some circles. Settling into stillness. Before we begin to move, I'm going to give you some options that you can take at any time. If you don't like a pose I offer you, and you want something else, you can always choose some of these. There's child's pose, which is toes touching at the back of the mat, hips to heels, hands out in front of you, forehead on the mat, or hands behind you. You can also do a supported version where you take a bolster or a pillow in front of you, reclining over it. Alternately, you can also choose dead bug. Just letting the arms and the feet reach for the sky passively as we practice. To notice and observe with compassion any thoughts, feelings, sensations, emotions, memories that may come up inside your body. Find your way to your feet. Get your feet underneath your hips, Feel the toes rooting down into the ground. Feel the strength of the legs, or if you're on the chair, feel the strength of the low back, lifting you to the sky as if a string pulls from the root all the way up to the crown of the head, making you tall, expanding, bringing energy into the fingertips as your palms expand. This is mountain. As we inhale, we'll raise our hands to the sky, looking up, breathing in as we draw our hands down the center line of the body. Diving down as you exhale, bending the knees, forward folding, not locking out our knees, letting our knees be soft, letting the head and the neck be heavy, and slowly rolling back up to standing. Letting the head and the neck be heavy until the last possible moment. Pausing, tall, feeling the energy through the fingertips. And inhaling the arms up as you look up. Breathing in that light. Exhaling down the body, diving down, bent knees. Letting the head roll, yes, no, left, right, being heavy and soft. Even bouncing a little bit and rolling up again from the soles of the feet all the way up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Exhaling the palms back down the heart center. Energy in the fingertips. Last one. Inhaling, breathing up. Teeny tiny back bend. And then exhaling the hands down the front of the body. Diving with soft knees. Resting. Folded over the feet. And then instead of rolling back up, bend deeply and roll up from bent knees, letting the head and the neck be heavy until last. Pausing in stillness. And then walking the hands back down the legs, back down the body, supporting you as you approach the ground. Coming onto the knees. We're going to come down on our backs now, and I want you to create a little nest, a little cocoon for your body that you can recline into for our final poses. And yes, this is a much shorter class than normal. I did more talking than I usually do in my live classes, but you wouldn't believe the amount of technical difficulties that come into recording something instead of teaching it live. Go ahead and prepare your space. Come onto your back. There should be pillows all around you, creating a little bit of a cocoon. And from here, you can draw your knees into your chest, giving them a little hug. You might want to rock from side to side. That feels good. Feeling the ground, applying pressure, massaging your muscles with your own bones. Go ahead and take your knees into your hands and let the hips open. Rotating them around, little semicircles, but they're supported. We're not just letting them drop. Draw your knees into your chest and tuck in tightly for a little hug like you're a tiny egg. Inhaling deeply, Exhaling, letting everything release. The arms come out. The feet come together like they're praying. And reclining. This is where you want to position your pillows so that they support your knees. And maybe you might want to even position the arms on pillows as well. Find yourself in the most supported pose for your body. If this doesn't feel good, you can also put something under your knees and do one of these. Have something under each arm. Find a pose that feels good for you today. Relaxing into the ground, into the earth. Feeling the hips open and soften. The belly rising and falling with the breath. Your eyes closed or gaze very softly around your room. Take one more breath here in stillness, observing the sensations, thoughts, emotions, and memories that swirl around inside you. And then draw the knees into the chest again, using your core, using your strong stomach muscles. And then let the knees fall to one side. It can be either side. You're going to want to have your knees supported by a pillow or a bolster. And whichever side your knees go to, let your head go to the other side. It's a super gentle twist where the lower half of the body is going in one direction and the upper half of the body is looking in the opposite direction. We'll spend 5 full breaths here, flushing the organs and the abdomens with cleansing, healing breath and blood. Make these the deepest, slowest breaths you can. Last breath, make it just as slow and sweet as all the rest. When you're ready, drawing the knees into the chest, pausing in neutral. You can take the hands to the feet and open the knees in happy baby, if this feels good. We're staying in butterfly for a moment. And then prepare to repeat this movement on the opposite side, letting the knees fall to one side and the head and the neck to another. Making sure that you can fully rest here. Not using any muscles to hold yourself up. 5 deep, nourishing breaths. Filling the belly, wringing out the internal organs like a dirty dish rag, flushing everything with clean water. As all of the toxins leave your tissues. savor this last breath. And slowly, with care and gentleness, uncurling yourself from the twist and finding an open resting position to settle in for our final meditation. The arms can be open or flat down at your sides, palms up or down as you like them. You can even bring the hands to the body, on the chest or the belly, resting gently as you prepare for Savasana, our final rest, our corpse pose. Let everything sink and settle. Your breath again becoming automatic, involuntary. Make no effort at all as you recline, softly supported, held by these soft pillows and blankets, and by the soft earth below you. We're going to end our practice today with some affirmations. I want to encourage you to stay here for as long as you need. You can choose to pause the video after the affirmations and stay in this restorative space, just receiving until you are ready to end. Repeat these words to yourself on the inside of your heart. My queerness is divinity. I am whole just the way I am. I was born in the right body. This body, my body, is perfect, is whole, is complete, is fluid, is flexible, is becoming. I give myself permission to become. I give myself permission to be fluid. I give myself permission to be authentically me. There is room for my authentic queer body in this human family, on this earth, in this time. To live a queer life is radical resistance and freedom. I give myself permission to be free. My queerness gives permission to other queer bodies and beings to be free. I free other queer bodies with my existence. Breathe in the truth of these affirmations, taking which ones resonate in your body and leaving those which do not. Take a moment now to repeat the affirmation that is most resonant to your body. Repeat it out loud to yourself. Remember, no one can hear you. Say it again one more time. Really mean it. Take both hands to your heart. Recall your intention. Breathe that intention in. Breathe in the words of your truth. Breathe in the words of belonging to this queer family, your queer family. Seal in the bravery and courage that lives in your body, that you share with all other radical queer beings, alive now and through history. You can choose to pause here and stay in this space, soaking up the glory of your own existence, your own divinity. Or if you're ready to slowly come back to the outside world, shift yourself over to the fetal position on one side. Slowly following your own breath. Taking a moment to stretch, if that feels good, keeping the eyes closed. A sigh or two. Focusing in on 3 layers of sound. Notice what is closest to you first. And then what is furthest away. Letting your awareness slowly bring you back to the room, the safe space, your home. Draw the arms underneath the body and use them to slowly press you back up to a seated position. Letting those eyes remain closed until the last possible moment. You might want to take your blanket, if it's not already around you, and drape yourself in it to savor the last few moments of our practice. Get cozy, swaddle yourself up for a little hug. Maybe you want to sway, or maybe you want to be completely still. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming here to this mat to receive what you need to connect to the wisdom of your body, to trust in your intuition, and to celebrate your existence. You can let the eyes flutter open. We're going to end our practice today with 3 sighs. This is a tool that's available to you at any moment. If the world ever makes you feel like there is not enough space for you or you don't belong, tune back into your breath, connect into this body, connect to your lineage of queer ancestors and trans elders and mystics. Feel held by the knowledge that you can pause and return to the breath, to this wisdom at any time. We're going to inhale, drawing all the tension, shoulders up to the ears, scrunching everything together. Exhaling, letting everything fall and sigh out. It's okay to be ugly, to make weird faces and be gross and dramatic. We'll do 2 more. Inhaling everything up, scrunching all the muscles, being tense as we can. Exhaling, sighing, letting everything drop. Last one, all together. Get everything out. Inhaling all up. And exhaling it down. Shaking or shimmying. Pausing to absorb the silence. Coming back to your body, to this day of the week, to this space that you're practicing in, to the weather outside your cozy house. Thank you so much for joining me today. You did an amazing job. You're so strong, so handsome and pretty and worthy. So worthy and so loved. You inspire me, and I admire you for setting this time aside and being brave enough to say that you're worth it, that your healing is worth it, that you deserve time to receive what you need. I'm always here for you. If you are of 18 years of age, you can find more of this content on my website. And if you're not, let me remind you that you don't need a guide for this. This wisdom lives inside you. Any movement that you are doing while breathing and being aware and observing the inside of what your body is feeling, sensing, thinking, spinning, any prickles, any movement of energy, anytime that you are aware of what's happening inside your body and you're moving and you're breathing, that's yoga. That's embodiment. And you don't need to buy that from anybody. You can make it up. Be playful. Don't take it so serious. Queer the space you're in. Let's queer this world together. And this work you're doing is so important.